I am 30 years old and I have no friends. Video by popular Christian YouTuber Mark the Messenger. Let's see what he's saying.
Blessings, peace and blessings. It's Mark the Messenger. I wanted to add on to, I see like the turning topic, I'm 23 with no friends, or I'm 35 with no friends, and I am 30. I'm 30 years old. I just turned 30 years old about 4 months ago, and I have no friends. And I think we as human beings in today's age, we have to be okay with having no friends, because to me, a definition of a friend is someone you could trust and rely on. I don't really have that. Now, I have many acquaintances. I have people who I do business with. I have people who I could talk sports with, and people I could talk, whatever's happening in the world, stuff like that, right? But someone who I could really trust and rely on, I don't have that. And I feel like us as humans, we have to be okay with not having that. And in my 20s, I want to say maybe 20 to 26, I was always around a whole bunch of people, and there was times where I had thousands of friends. I have hundreds of friends. I could always hit someone up. Let's go smoke. Let's go to a party on the weekend. Let's go to a view site, and smoke. Let's drink, whatever the case is. I always had a friend when it came to doing things that were going against God, or doing things that, that I know that wasn't gonna elevate me spiritually. But the minute I wanted to start, okay, let me put the blunt down. I'm not gonna party as much. I'm not gonna drink as much. Let me try living for God. Let me try, doing the right thing. Because all my life I wasn't living right. So let me try a switch, a transition. Because I'm trying to level up in life. I'm not like most human beings who are just comfortable. They're always comfortable and they're okay with being that. And I was like that for a long period of time. But eventually.
So yes, I agree. When God pulls you out of the world, you are going to lose most of your friends. You may have a few left over, but even those, unless they get pulled out of the world as well, you probably won't be seeing them very much. You probably won't be speaking to them very often. Maybe just checking in on them from time to time. They'll most certainly be in your prayers, or at least they should be. But it's true. This is very common. This is very common. But you don't need to have no friends to be a dedicated disciple of Jesus Christ. This is why we are oftentimes encouraged in the Bible, right? We are told to not forsake the gathering together, right? Me personally, after coming out of the law of Moses deception, right, and understanding what it truly means to live under the law of Christ, the freedom of going to church opened back up to me once again. When I was under the law of Moses, there were no messianic ministries in my general area. And so I found myself not fellowshipping with people. But now that I am, back on this side of the fence, I've been going to church. I've been experimenting, looking for, a new church. So we've been trying out different churches. And even though we haven't found a church to settle down in yet where I currently live, just going. And look, it's not hard to find people that you can make friends with at church, right? We are encouraged as Christians to love our brethren. And so, of course, not everyone who goes to church you should be making friends with, because there are a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing. There are a lot of lukewarm Christians. There are a lot of people who aren't really living the lifestyle. They're just there for the donuts and coffee. They're just there for the music. They're just there to show face. But there are plenty of good, righteous, dedicated children of God in, a lot of churches that you can find, do the fruit test. So I don't know if that's the reason Mark is having trouble finding and making friends, because he is in this law of Moses doctrine, and he might live in an area where, finding a place to fellowship with other believers, probably difficult. Yeah.
She was like, bro, it's like I feel like I was like a bird. There's a helicopter going up right now, but I felt like I was like a bird and I was like stuck in a cage, but the cage was open. Like the cage was already open. I could come out, but I was too comfortable to actually, take the leap of faith and, to see what I had to do to, better myself. And one thing I learned about being alone is that you get to know more about yourself.
Okay, I'll check out that video next. Thank you, Gospel Girl.
What you like, what you don't like, and you start to love yourself. And when you have all these friends, all these distractions, the people, if you only have people to hit up to smoke or to party with or to get at girls and stuff like that, that's not really your friend. All those so-called friends that I have who are like that, like when times got real, when I really needed someone, they were nowhere to be found. But when it's time to go get high, when it's time to go get that chicks, they're the first ones to, I'll go pick you up, I'll go get.
Ah, man, that's also unfortunate. I can still say for my few friends that I still have from being in the world, even though we are living very different lives now, I know that they still have my back and I still have their back. You know what I'm saying? I know if I'm ever in a pinch and I need something and I need help, even though God has not yet called them out of the darkness, they're still going to show up. They're still going to show up, and they know they can call me anytime for anything that they need because, it's still all love. It's just, we can't, we live different lives now. And so hanging out on a even occasional basis is just not practical, but
this and that. And it's just like, as I started to get older, I was 25 when I started to see this, see the world, the matrix, for what it is. And I was like, wow, like this world hates God, bro. Like the minute you try to do better, you would think that people would be like, okay, even though they might not be, trying to get better, but they like to motivate you, encourage you, like, oh man, keep doing what you're doing. I'm trying to get, because iron sharpens iron, bro. Like if I see someone doing good, that's going to motivate, inspire me to do better, encourage me to be a better human being, to be better in society. But, that's one thing that I noticed. So having no friends, I feel like we as humans, we have to be okay with that. Like that's not a bad thing. Now you could have no friends because you're a POS, you're a terrible human being. That is the case too, or no one wants to be around you because you're full of bad vibes, bad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope Mark finds some friends, man, because there are plenty of good people of God. I don't see that in the Bible. I think everyone has friends. Right? Everyone has brothers and sisters in the Bible. Paul, who was oftentimes slandered and seemed to have a lot of people trying to put a target on his back. I mean, he's constantly writing about all the people whom he, loves and cherishes and who love and cherish him and cares about him. So listen, guys, you don't need to be friendless during this walk. In fact, fellowship is one of the pillars that keep our faith together. Definitely, there are going to be seasons in our lives where we have to be alone. It's actually for our benefit to be alone. And there also might come seasons of tribulation in your life where, you are alone. You're forced to be alone. And we definitely, at those points, have to rely completely on God, as we always rely completely on God. But you don't need to not have friends, right? God uses your Christian friends as a means of strengthening your faith as well. They hold you accountable. They understand what you're going through during times of trouble. And so if you're not currently a part of a church, I highly, highly, highly recommend you try finding one. Even if you disagree in regards to, the Trinity stuff, if you're not a Trinitarian, or if you're even, if whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, what matters is, do you see the fruits of the Spirit at that church? Listen to the Holy Spirit will guide you. You will see signs. And also, I don't believe that any church is going to be perfect, right? I don't believe you can ever get a group of fallen human beings together in one place and it just be everything goes perfectly. But there's a church for you out there. There's a church for you out there. Well, okay. That's cool, man. That's cool. I wish Mark the best. I wish Mark the best.